It's been real USB, but it's time to pass the torch. Meet the Pogo pins, a modern and versatile way to power devices and transfer data. Drawing inspiration from the same spring-loaded toys many of us have fond memories of from the late 90s. These spring-loaded conductors mimic the design of the pogo stick, hence the name. But unlike those childhood toys that left us sustaining minor injuries, these pogo pins sustain our devices instead, delivering a broad range of power currents and speedy data transfer capabilities. But besides sounding like the next big thing and making me reconsider my overflowing cable drawer, don't judge me, what can these things actually do that USB can't? For starters, they feature anti-tripwires with a MagSafe-style connector, so you won't be dragging your device across the room if someone snags the cord. We've all been there. They're also dust and waterproof. Ever drop your phone at the beach? With Pogo pins, sand is no longer a death sentence for your device. Then there's auto orientation. Thanks to the magnetic alignment, it's a snap to connect without the hassle of flipping the cable back and forth. Plus, they offer far more mating cycles, meaning they can handle way more connects and disconnects than your average USB, making them perfect for heavy usage. And let's be honest, they're just plain fun. To dive deeper, I took my journalistic credentials and spoke with one of the senior electronics engineers at Seed Studio. We discussed why they chose Pogo pins for their new T1000E LoRa mesh node, which gave me a valuable look into the equation from the manufacturer's perspective. Next, I decided to get hands-on. I ordered some Pogo pin parts from Temu to build a fully hands-free charging dock for my drone, testing if I could get it to mate and charge without ever plugging in a cable. I mean, it works for the Roomba, right? So it should work for my DJI Mini. By the end of this video, you're gonna be a Pogo Pin Pro. For over 20 years, USB has been the go-to standard for transferring both power and data to our devices. It's been reliable, no doubt, but beyond a minor color change in 2008 with the introduction of USB 3.0, and hey, I like royal blue as much as the next guy, the form factor has barely evolved. Sure, we've seen some speed upgrades along the way, like back in 2000, USB 2.0 came along, boosting data transfer speeds to 480 megabytes per second. Then in 2008, we got USB 3.0, and that really kicked things up to 5 gigabits per second. Beyond the speed boost, the USB form factor hasn't changed much in how we use it. This is where it gets interesting. Jeff Bezos, who knows a thing or two about building successful products, often emphasizes the importance of a day one mindset, a focus on continuous innovation. In his view, day two marks the start of stagnation, leading to irrelevance, painful decline, and eventually death. And that's why for Bezos, it's always day one. In other words, staying stuck in the past, even if it's worked for a long time, is the first step towards becoming obsolete. And that's where USB starts to show its limitations. For starters, there's the fragility aspect. We've all dealt with USB ports that wear down over time or get loose, leading to connectivity issues. Then there's that orientation problem. How many times have you tried to plug in a USB device only to flip it because you had it upside down? It's a classic frustration. Not to mention dust and debris, USB ports are vulnerable to dirt, especially if you're working outdoors or in harsh environments. A single grain of sand can completely unmake you fighting to get your device connected. That brings us to the issue of outdoor use. USB wasn't really designed for rugged environments. It's prone to wear and tear when exposed to the elements, making it less reliable for off-grid or outdoor applications. So what are Pogo pins and why are they starting to replace traditional connectors like USB? Simply put, Pogo pin connectors are spring-loaded probes designed to create electrical connections between components. You've likely seen them in action without realizing it. Everything from fitness trackers to smartwatches like Garmin uses them. Each Pogo pin is made of high-quality materials like brass barrels and plungers, ensuring they last a long time and can withstand tens of thousands of mating cycles without losing efficacy. Because of their spring-loaded design, they maintain constant pressure between the connected surfaces, which makes them highly reliable and adaptable to various shapes, sizes, and orientations. This gives them a real edge in terms of durability and performance over standard connectors. Unlike USB, which is vulnerable to issues like fragility, dust, debris, and even water damage, Pogo pins are often waterproof and can perform in harsh environments. That's why they're increasingly popular in devices like fitness trackers and smartphones that are used outdoors. Another key advantage is their versatility in shape and aspect ratios. Unlike USB ports, which have a fixed rectangular form, Pogo pins can be designed in a variety of shapes, adapting to the specific needs of the device. Whether you need a circular array, a low-profile rectangular design, or something completely custom, Pogo pins offer unmatched flexibility. This opens up more possibilities for designers to create sleeker, more compact products without being locked into bulky, standard-sized ports. But the real beauty of Pogo pins lies in their versatility. They're used in custom cable assemblies and can be customized for specific needs, whether it's high currents, specialized shapes, or being embedded in compact devices without adding bulk. Their design can even integrate magnetic assemblies, allowing for magnetized connections that make devices easier to connect and disconnect. Think about Apple's MagSafe. You can easily snap the charger into place or rip it away without damaging the connector. This not only protects the device, but also makes it easier to use, even for a child. Pogo pins also come with some pretty impressive advantages, like high mating life cycles, meaning they can handle thousands of connections without degrading. Some models can even withstand up to 10,000 cycles, which is far beyond what most USB ports can manage. They can be surface-mounted SMD or installed through the device body using a through-hole or solder cup, depending on the application. And because of their compact size, they're perfect for today's consumer electronics, where space is a premium. Whether it's fitness trackers, smartwatches, or even DIY projects like using them on an Arduino SPI port, Pogo pins offer more flexibility and reliability without increasing the size or cost of your build. On top of that, Pogo pins are often gold-plated, which protects them from oxidation and helps prevent galvanic corrosion, ensuring better conductivity compared to traditional connectors. This makes them ideal for outdoor applications where they're exposed to the elements. No more worrying about water or dust messing with your connectors. In fact, they're even used in high-end rugged devices that need to perform in extreme conditions. In short, Pogo pins are compact, durable, magnetized, and highly customizable, all while offering high mating cycles and waterproof capabilities that are increasingly becoming essential in modern consumer electronics. And if you're looking to experiment with Pogo pins yourself, top manufacturers like Harwin pins and Coda pins offer a wide variety to fit your specific needs. The global demand for Pogo pin connectors is rapidly growing, as shown by this chart. Why? Because more cutting-edge tech is adopting them for their durability, flexibility, and high mating cycles. Take the HMD Fusion, a next-gen modular phone, where Pogo pins allow for snap-on hardware upgrades and repairs without replacing the entire device. This trend is expanding beyond phones. Pogo pins are now found in everything from smartwatches to rugged outdoor tech, thanks to their compact size and waterproof capabilities. As manufacturers like Harwin and Coda push innovation, Pogo pins are becoming essential for modern devices that prioritize durability and ease of use. With this rise, it's clear that Pogo pins are set to replace bulky USB ports in many future technologies. Now, I recently got my hands on the T1000E, a GPS LoRa Meshtastic node with impressive battery life, built for use in tough conditions like skiing, hiking, and boating. What makes this device stand out isn't just its ruggedness, but the innovative use of Pogo pins for charging and connectivity. And I had the chance to interview the senior electronics engineer behind this project, and he shared some key insights into why they chose Pogo pins for the T1000E. He explained that one of the biggest design priorities was ensuring the device could handle charging while remaining waterproof and dustproof. Traditional connectors like USB just wouldn't cut it. Pogo pins offered a solution that maintained a completely sealed design while delivering reliable power. But integrating Pogo pins wasn't without its challenges. Since the T1000E is so compact, they had to carefully design the PCB layout to make space for both the Pogo pins and the magnetic system that helps align the charger. This wasn't easy, but after several iterations, they managed to fit everything perfectly. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty details of these Pogo pins used in the T1000E. First, the materials. The pin shaft and pin tube are made from lead-free brass. with a lead content of less than 100 ppm, while the spring is crafted from Sus 304 stainless steel. And Sus 304 stainless steel is a widely used alloy known for its excellent corrosion resistance and durability, making it ideal for harsh environments. Its high levels of chromium and nickel give it superior protection against rust and add strength. This combination makes Sus 304 a go-to material for outdoor applications, ensuring long-lasting performance in rugged conditions. Then there's the plating. Both the pin shaft and the pin tube are coated with nickel, 50 to 120 microinches thick, followed by a thin layer of gold plating, about 83 microinches thick. This helps prevent oxidation, keeping the connection strong and reliable even after thousands of uses. From an electrical performance standpoint, these Pogo pins are rated for 12 volts and up to 1 ampere of current, with a contact resistance of less than 50 milliohms. That means you get efficient power delivery without losing energy to resistance, important for keeping the T1000's battery life optimized. Pogo pins typically have a lower contact resistance, usually less than 50 milliohms, compared to an iPhone's USB port, which can be 100 milliohms or higher. This means Pogo pins are more efficient at transferring power, leading to faster, more reliable charging and less energy loss, especially in rugged conditions. On the mechanical side, these pins are designed for a working stroke of 0.7 millimeters, and the spring force at that position is 70 grams, plus or minus 15 grams. This ensures a solid, consistent connection every time you charge. And with a lifespan of at least 10,000 cycles, these pins are built to last. To ensure reliability in harsh environments, the pins underwent a 48-hour salt spray test to simulate extreme conditions and verify their resistance to corrosion. The product also complies with RoHS and HSF standards. For those unfamiliar, RoHS, or the restriction of hazardous substances, ensures that harmful materials like lead or mercury are minimized in electronic components. This means the T1000E is environmentally friendly and safe to use. Meanwhile, HSF stands for hazardous substance free, which similarly ensures the materials used in the Pogo pins are free from dangerous chemicals that could impact health or the environment. The end result is a charging solution that's durable, waterproof, and cost-effective, all while keeping the devices thin and light. For anyone working with DIY tech projects or rugged outdoor gear, Pogo pins provide the perfect balance of reliability and practicality. And just for fun here, I'm going to show that the Pogo pin connections are not just for power, but they're also for data. And actually this little guy right here uses it in order to flash its firmware, in this case Meshtastic. So if I plug it in here and then go ahead and connect the Pogo pins, I should be able to select my device. We want the T1000E, there it goes. We're on a Nordic chipset, so Seed Tracker T1000E. We can select the latest firmware, and then we're going to put it into DFU mode, and then we're going to download the OS, save it to my documents folder. And then to flash the OS, we just have to drag that file onto the device. So that's the OS right there. And the device is going to be this guy right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I think it worked. So to prove it out, we just put 259936 onto the device. So now we should be able to connect to it. So let's try that real quick. We're going to do USB serial. See if we can't get a connection going. We can, and we can see that the version is there. So we just flashed the firmware and we did it through the Pogo pin connection. But I wanted to see if I could take this newfound tech and apply it to something around the office to make my life a little easier. The first thing that caught my eye, my DJI mini drone. Now, normally to charge this thing, you have to turn it off, bring it over to a charging port, and plug in the USB-C connector. It's simple enough, But I started thinking, could we take it a step further for the sake of science? What if, at least theoretically, the drone could use magnets to create a hands-free connection, kind of like an air-to-air refueling, but for electric drones? The only catch is I'm not allowed to touch the connectors with my hands. That's where the magnets come in. These little guys should make it possible for the drone to snap onto the charging pad automatically without me needing to plug in any cables. Kind of like how Tesla envisions self-driving cars automatically parking and charging. I'm trying to automate this drone charging process hands-free. So I hopped onto Temu to see what spare parts I could find to make this happen. And as always, Temu is an interesting place. Gotta love Temu finds. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at here, but I am intrigued. Eventually, I stumbled across these magnetic charging heads, male and female types, perfect for my experiment. So just for fun, I was looking at the user manual here, and you can see it's a pretty rough translation. The magnet is fragile. Do not use it violently. Item comes with a small magnet. Children need to use it property in the custody of adults. Close enough. All right, I have to say I'm actually pretty impressed with these Temu finds. They're a great deal, assuming of course that China isn't siphoning off my data through them. But thanks to my Ubiquiti router, I can monitor all the network traffic, which gives me a solid layer of protection against any potential threats. I even went full bore and blocked all of China at one point, but there ended up being a few manufacturers whose sites were hosted in China and I wanted to access, so I ended up lifting that restriction. I do want to show you all what I'm using in the way of home network management. So I used to have a standard TP-Link wireless router, very vanilla type router, not a whole lot of bells and whistles. But a couple months ago, I upgraded to this guy right here. And you can see it doesn't look like a typical router. This is the Unify Express by Ubiquiti. And it's just a whole nother level when it comes to home network management. The privacy and security features are far more enhanced. You can do things like you can block certain countries. You can see all your network traffic, so all the different host names. So, when you're getting devices from manufacturers that you don't have a whole lot of, loyalty or, rapport with, you can be confident that they're not sending data off to different servers that you wouldn't expect. And you can just do a whole lot of practical management things, like you can set up a guest network and you can do that fancy thing that hotels do where guests can connect to that network and it'll pop up a browser and it'll give them that welcome page and you can give them a guest username and password. You can do a lot of that cool stuff with one of these. And so this just helps keep my network secure. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Either way, always stay alert when you're adding new devices to your network. It's good practice to know what's talking to what when introducing new appliances and being cognizant of how they might potentially be used against you. The adapter comes with both a micro USB and USB-C head, and it features an 11-pin connector. Its party trick is the 180-degree swivel head. That swivel is perfect for my air-to-air drone recharging experiment. And honestly, it's surprising we don't see more creative charging designs like this here in the States. One pain point I've had before is charging my phone in the car. When I plug it in, it sits in the cup holder, which bends the USB-C cable and puts pressure on the port. Never ideal. But with this swivel design, I can right angle the cable, which reduces that wear and tear, which is pretty slick. My plan is to pop the USB-C head into the drone, leaving the magnetic swivel head exposed so that the drone can just touch down and get a quick boost without any manual connection. Next up, I've got a 60-watt USB 4 fast charger. It's basically a standard USB-C to magnetic adapter, but with a twist. What's interesting is the head is a circular conductive pin. This is called a Pogo pin ring connector, or rotational contact pin, or slip ring. And it enables the 360-degree rotational freedom while passing a current to the device. And on this channel, we like our freedom. It's another interesting example of creative charging tech, giving us more flexibility without worrying about cables bending or twisting out of place. And with free shipping, it's nice to not have to shell out big money to bring my experiments to life. Finally, I don't think putting the plug directly into the drone is going to work given the proximity to these blades. So I got an 8-inch USB-C extension that I can dangle from the drone to better facilitate the connection. The end result is a drone with a protruding charging tail. Now let's prove that it can actually deliver. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is to use the magnetic USB-C adapters to make the charger for the drone very easy to connect. I should be able to just put the male and female pieces near each other and they should just snap into place. So that is the idea. And you can see I'm not going to be able to get the USB up and kind of close to that end of the drone. So I need some sort of extension, and that's what I'm going to use for this. And then right here, I'm able to put that magnetic connector onto it. So now I just need to connect everything and try to pilot it to do an air-to-air refueling. Okay, so we have the charging station suspended in the air, so hopefully the drone can kind of come down and just snap into place and start charging. We'll see. Yes, it worked. All right, so now if we want it to break away, I gotta give a quick shout out to DJI Mini. The number of times I've crashed this thing is just like, I remember the first time I turned it on, I immediately flew it into a wall. And like I probably crash it just about every time I use it. But it seems to bounce back. I think I've had to replace a couple blades, but I don't know, it's pretty rugged. So if you're ever interested in getting a drone, this little guy can handle quite a bit of destruction. I'm excited to see how changing methods and connectors evolve in the coming years. And new legislation like the EU's single charger rule could potentially limit the adoption of new connector modalities. However, since it currently only applies to phones and enforces specific current limits, it might not be enough to guarantee USB-C's dominance as connectors continue to innovate and evolve. Have you ever worked on a project where Pogo pins could have made your life easier? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear about those experiences. And don't forget to check out the next killer tech video right here.